From where should I start? I remember when I was 17, I was so disappointed with the world. One day I decided to leave. I remember the first time the doctor mentioned surgery. I was in fear, but I asked him if there was any alternative, but he said there's no way. The weather outside was beautiful that day. I remember the sky was blue, almost like the ocean, and the sunlight was dazzling. I couldn't even open my eyes. It was a morning around 9 a.m. here, probably closer to 12 a.m. in Shanghai time. I remember calling my mom on FaceTime, and the moment she picked up, she was still happily telling me she was eating barbecue and getting fat. I felt this overwhelming sense of guilt wash over me. I mean, here I was, about to mess up this body she gave me. I couldn't hold back. Tears fell from the corners of my eyes, and I said, "Mom, the doctor says I have to have surgery, and I have to relearn how to walk. Mom, I'm scared. What should I do? I don't want to have surgery, but what should I do?" I couldn't remember my mom's face because tears blurred my vision, but I remembered her voice. Her tone was so serious and stern. She said, "Stop crying. What good does crying do? Don't be so weak." Then I remember the day of the surgery. A nurse shifted my leg hair. In my mind, I thought, why don't they shift the hair on my left leg? My leg hair will be asymmetrical, exactly. Then there were 4 or 5 nurses around me helping me to serve the nerves in my thigh. They were asking about my family, medical history, and I was thinking, I don't even know my ancestors, how I'm supposed to answer that. Suddenly, the nurse asked me, "According to our protocol, I must ask you this question. In the event of an accident while you're in coma, who can make the decisions for you?" I said, "No one." The nurse paused and then said, "In that case, if an accident occurs, the doctors will make decisions for you." I said, "Okay." Then in the last 10 minutes before the anesthesia started, I FaceTimed my mom. I kept holding back, but I saw my mom crying. It was the first time I saw she cry. Then I was under anesthesia, just before losing consciousness. I remember the doctor was about to move me onto the operating table. With my last trace of consciousness, I told them, I can do that by myself. But I couldn't move even though I tried my hardest. The last thing I heard was, we look at her trying to help. Then my world turned black, but I can feel so much pain. It felt like I was somewhere in the universe surrounded by dark matter. I could hear the beeping of the monitor, the cold dripping sound. Someone was calling me, but I couldn't see life. I was still in the darkness. I was in so much pain. That voice said, "You should wake up now, you should go." And I finally saw the light. I was lifted onto a weird chair, holding onto the ice machine. I thought, this thing is so big. My legs couldn't move at all, and I was holding onto so many medications. For hours after the surgery, I thought I couldn't be so weak. I stood up. It took me nearly 40 minutes to climb 3 flights of stairs back to my apartment. I know I shouldn't do that. It was tough, but I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride in my strength. I was like, I'm different. I have to be strong, and I'm strong. And I have to be stronger. My mom said the most regrettable thing I've ever done is sending you to dance class when you were 5, letting you leave home alone when you were 12, and again at 18, letting you go even further away. In the days that followed, I'm just thinking everything. I could do everything by myself since 12, but this time I felt despair. I couldn't move. I was useless. What function did I have left? I fell into nihilism. Then at 18, I made another life-changing decision to leave my birth country. Stepping into this new environment felt like being a newborn kid, timid and hesitant to speak up. I spent my days quietly observing the unspoken rules of behavior until I gathered enough courage to find my voice. My teacher back in China once told me something. He shared a quote from Roman Roland. "There's only one heroism in the world, to still love life after recognizing the truth of life." I said I also remembered what Nietzsche said, only optimism purified by pessimism is true optimism. I remember when I was 17, I was so disappointed with the world. One day I decided to leave. I packed 5 pieces of clothing, the cell phone, the power bank, bought a ship ticket, and left. No one knew where I went. I saw a deep blue boundary line from the ship's window, usually above sea level, sometimes in the sea. I was pondering what was in the middle, what kind of liminal space it was. I chatted with the crew, talked with people who couldn't afford the ticket and slept on the floor. I saw children's shorts washed away by the waves, parents helping them find short scenes, the golden silhouette of the sunset on the horizon. I sat by the sea at 3 a.m., watching the pitch-black sea, listening to the sound of the sea breeze and waves until dawn. I saw Tyndall effect at sunrise, and I heard an old man picking up trash by the sea asking me, "Girl, aren't you cold sitting here alone? Don't despair, life is beautiful." I met a fortune teller on the street corner. She told me, "Girl, you have a young body, but an old soul, I can tell, which means you will experience more, even the breath of trees and pain." I saw street cats and dogs on the street corner. I took off my coat to make home for them and used all my cash to buy them food. I even felt they were very lonely. They just wanted to live. So I decided to accompany them. I sat in the bushes talking to them for an afternoon. I walked like this, walked through many familiar, different, similar streets and alleys, and saw trees of different characters. I love trees. They make me feel the true strength. Something bigger than my own breath is alive inside me. The tree told me, "Your blood has cooled. It's time to boil again." Because I exhausted by my greatest curiosity and the static sense on people, wandering and lost. However, I'm also human because I know with a flesh body, you are destined to endure inherent disturbances. The tree responded to me again, "You want to reach the height of freedom? Your soul longs for the starry sky." So I seem to see something. I'm always a work in progress. I'm my own freedom. There are too many constraints in life. I want to find my own freedom. Later, I saw a lonely stone, occupying the entire sky. It said, "In these 1,000 years, I only love myself." I saw water again. Water has no memory, so it's always so pure. I saw what people were doing thousands of years ago under the night sky, how they built pyramids in their conversations, how they made up the first words, and why they started the first dance. I remembered Borges saying, "When I look up at the moon, I don't just see a shining body in the sky. It's also the moon of Virgil, Shakespeare, Rilke, and Gongora. You see, the moonlight tonight is so beautiful." Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy, but sometimes I feel like the world is mentally ill, and I'm just entertaining myself in a nightmare. Later, I fell in love with mountains. I kneeled with the Tibetan people and pilgrims. I listened to why they wanted to wash away their sins. The secret mountain in their eyes, the quiet yet primitive, powerful mountain in my eyes. They are there, quietly witnessing all the happenings in history. I enjoy solitude. I can sense my end. No one knows me. I don't need to concern myself with anyone. Detached from the worldly stalemate, entering the drifting process. Slight joy, slight swing, slight awakening. Sometimes you have to step out yourself before you can find yourself again. Sometimes you must stop staring at yourself to see yourself clearly. My mind is on fire, but no one can see the flames. Yet the ashes indicate there was once fire. I am constantly abandoning myself. At the same time, I am reborn from my own ruins. I realize that deliberately sought-after things are often elusive. Everything in the world has its time to come and go. Don't let yourself wither, and don't let others tame you. I age, yet I'm young. I'm foolish, yet wise. Toward others, I'm indifferent, yet caring. Maternal and paternal instincts both reside within me. I am a child, yet an adult. I'm coarse, yet refined. Don't yield, don't dilute. Don't make it seem reasonable. Don't modify your soul according to trends. Instead, fiercely pursue what you love most. Tear yourself apart until you become whole. I remember when I was 17, I was so disappointed with the world. One day I decided to leave,